Inside Korea's billion-dollar beauty industry with Grace Neutral, directed by Nick Walters, follows a tattoo artist from London with a very controversial and out there style. Grace dives deep into the fast-growing beauty industry to uncover its secrets and what it holds, and how it affects young people. In this analysis, I will be looking at the content and style to then understand the modes of the documentary. The style in which the documentary is presented in is exploratory. However, Walter's personal style argues that it has self-reflective elements. The documentary follows Grace Neutral as she intently investigates the secret of this fast-growing billion-dollar beauty industry, highlighting the K-pop beauty ideals and how it influences young adults in South Korea. There isn't much on Nick Walters' style of documentary, as his body work as a director is minimal. But through this mini-series he has created with Grace as the investigative subject, you can clearly see his style shine through. Through the documentary, we are taken through the streets of Seoul, to where all the people all over the world go to buy their beauty products. The pieces of camera showcase Grace's thoughts and feelings as a person who particularly stands out. Reason being that she is covered in tattoos, and it's actually illegal to be a tattoo artist in South Korea, so anyone seen with tattoos is quite taboo. Grace leads us through the streets, and we get a real-life perspective, like we are walking the streets with her. With this technique, we can see the reactions of the public as she walks by them. Through the documentary, the techniques used to tell the story of Grace's investigation is shown through the slow-motion visuals of the public and the different locations she visits, from the busy street, to Grace getting her makeup done, to the spa. These visuals all aid the story and give the audience a full spectrum of her experiences. The story continues with Grace as she meets up with a local girl that guides her through the secrets of the industry, as someone who lives in South Korea. We start in a beauty parlor with the two girls getting their makeup done. The questions are very generic and does not give us anything we don't already know as part of the audience. It is only when we enter the spa do we start to understand how ostracized Grace is among the Korean community. We start to see the comparison between Grace and those who are sheltered from people who are extremely tattooed. Grace does a piece to camera saying that people are staring at her because she's wearing a coat in a spa. However, I completely disagree with this statement. As something taboo as tattoos, we're definitely starting to see her... as something as taboo as tattoos are, we are definitely starting to see that Grace is being stared at, not for her wearing a coat in a spa, but for the visible tattoo she has and the fact that she has purple dye in her eyes. As part of the audience, I definitely feel for Grace in this experience, as I have too been looked at and judged for the way I look. As the audience, we have probably felt this once in our lives, and this kind of creates sympathy for Grace and humanizes her. Through the documentary, this was supposed to showcase the billion-dollar beauty industry, but we're also getting a hidden meaning intertwined with the storyline. We judge those we don't understand, and Grace being in a country where it's illegal to tattoo must be very confronting. Everywhere she went, you could clearly see the disgust on people's faces. Her pieces to camera definitely shares her feelings and thoughts She shares her thoughts and her feelings regularly as she encounters people in the public as she walks past and have seen that people are staring at her. By the end of the documentary, we can clearly see the style, mode, and content of all the work as they all work cohesively to create a story that doesn't just look at the beauty industry in Korea, but also how we judge others and how we perceive them. Walter successfully does this through his style of storytelling and the insightful pieces to camera that Grace shares with the audience. In conclusion, we all judge people we do not understand, and beauty is a major concern with everyone around the world, not just in Korea. Walter's style in which the content is presented lets his hidden storyline shine through, and we get to see the world through Grace's eyes.